Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today in my home. So let's go ahead and go to our mats and get settled. We can find a comfortable position on our mats sitting down. We can use blankets stacked, or if you're lucky enough to have a meditation cushion or bolster, we can sit on that as well. Or laying down on our back, so whatever feels most comfortable for you. So we can bend our knees if we're laying on our back with our feet apart, knees together. And just finding a comfortable position for our arms to rest by our sides or hands on our belly. If we're seated, we can just place our hands on our lap with the palms up or down. So we'll just do a brief centering today as we close our eyes and check in with our breath, our body, and our mind today. So we check in with the mind and just notice how our mind is feeling. Noticing if we have a busy mind or a calm mind. Perhaps noticing our thoughts and emotions. We can even label these thoughts positive, negative, or neutral, as well as our emotions. Checking in with our bodies. Noticing how our body is feeling today as we scan our body, working from the top of our head, moving down to the tips of our toes. Do we notice tension or holding, gripping, discomfort? And if we do, see if we can relax those places if we're able. And so sending ourselves kindness and compassion as we observe ourselves today. So we can relax the places that we can, and for the places that are still holding on, we're still noticing a holding on of the uncomfortableness. We can send those places love. So we include the whole body today. And then we'll move into awareness of our breath. Just noticing how the body is bringing breath in and out. Feeling the sensation of breath moving in and out of the nostrils, back of the throat. Feeling the chest and belly rising and falling with each breath in and out. And do we notice uncomfortableness with this breath today, or do we notice ease? Do we feel quiet in our bodies today, or do we feel busy? Are we having thoughts of future or past, or are we here in the present moment? See if we can gently gather ourselves together and just bring us back to center. Perhaps taking a deep breath in and exhaling through the mouth if you'd like a sigh. So we begin to feel the weight of our bodies on the mat, and feeling the earth rising up to meet our seat or our back body. Feeling the heaviness of the body on our mat today. Bringing ourselves back to present. And so perhaps setting an intention today, but not making it stressful. So setting an intention for your practice, or maybe sending some good energy to someone who may need it today. And that someone can be you. And as we feel our next breath move into our bodies, let's slowly bring our arms up overhead to stretch, whether you're laying down or seated. And just stretching nice and long. Exhaling with arms back by our sides, relax our shoulders, and we'll do it again. Inhale and stretch. And exhale with arms back by our sides. And last time. And stretch. And exhale with arms back by our sides. And so from here, if we're seated, we'll lay on our backs. We're already on our backs. We're just going to draw the knees in towards our chest, clasping behind the knees, drawing the knees in, taking a few breaths here, relaxing the upper, middle, and lower back. And just observing how our body is feeling and the feedback that our body is giving us with each movement today. And we can start to move, rocking gently, circling the knees, moving our feet. And just again, noticing how the body feels, the feedback that it gives. And then we'll exhale and bring our feet to the mat. And then from here, we'll just adjust our back body so we're feeling space between our low back and our mat, and giving ourselves a little shrug in the shoulders and letting them relax. Feet are apart, arms out to a T, but not a strong T. A little lower than the shoulders. And we'll just start to windshield wiper our legs to release any tension in our lower back and pelvis. And we're just going to free up the pelvis here. And if you want, the head can move in the opposite direction of our knees. So if we have any issues with this movement, we can lessen this exaggeration of movement. And then we'll come back up to center with arms by our sides, and we'll walk our feet a little closer towards our body, intuitively finding our ankles under our knees. And then we'll float the right leg up to straight. And we can reach and grab the thigh of our right leg, or we can use our yoga strap on the ball of our right foot as we extend our hand up the strap so our arm comes straight. And so our left knee can stay bent, or we can extend the left leg just straight on the mat as long as we're activating the left leg. And it also depends on our flexibility. So we might notice the stretch in the back of the leg and maybe a contraction in the abdominals. Exhale, we'll bring the right foot down, and then inhale the left leg to straight. And so really just thinking about a straight leg rather than it being directly up towards the ceiling. Everybody's flexibility will be different here. So even if the leg is a little lower, that's okay. You still will probably feel the stretch, especially if our hamstrings are a bit tight. And then we'll exhale and bring our left foot down. And so with arms by our sides, adjusting our back body a little bit if you need to, we're going to extend our right leg to straight on the mat. And we're just going to turn the right foot out just a slight bit to the right. On your next inhalation, we're going to slowly lift the right leg up and move it to level with our left thigh as best you can. We're going to go really slow, like we're dragging it through water or mud, and then exhale, slowly press the leg down. So the bones of our thigh are the biggest bones in our body, so they're a bit heavier, so we're probably noticing the weight of the leg right now. So the weight of the leg is our resistance. Inhaling up. And so while we're doing this, we're mindfully being aware of our body and how our body is responding. So as the leg lifts and lower, we might feel other parts of the body activating, our muscles activating. For instance, I noticed my lower abdominals activating here. I'm noticing my quadricep muscle, noticing my hip flexor. And so we're going to do this to fatigue, but we only have a certain amount of time here today. So if you're not reaching fatigue, and fatigue means that we can't do another one, that we're just too exhausted. And that's a muscle sensation, not the mind telling you that you're done. Sometimes the mind wants us to end. We're just really tuning into our bodies and feeling when that exhaustion or whatever comes in, that fatigue. I don't like saying exhaustion, but fatigue. And so then we'll bring that leg all the way down to the mat and rest. Relax everything. Feel the undoing. Maybe taking a deep breath and exhaling. And then we'll bend the right knee and extend the left leg. And we'll just turn that left foot out to the left slightly. And we'll do the same thing on this side, feeling the resistance as we lift and lower. Inhaling up, very slowly exhaling, like we're dragging it through mud or water. Feeling that resistance. Activating those muscles, firing those muscles. And so again, this is a little mixture of resistance movement or somatic strength movement and yoga today. This can also be done with resistance bands. You could place a resistance band on the right foot and then the other part of the resistance band on this left leg. And it would have to be kind of a little wider, of course. So as you get stronger and you're not feeling as much, then you can go a little deeper. You'll probably even do like weights on the ankles or maybe above the knee. We're going to do one more. Again, you might not be at fatigue, but you have the rest of the day to do this. And then exhale all the way down and relax everything. We taking a cleansing breath in and exhaling out. And then we're going to bend the left knee here, and then we're going to lift the feet up. And so we have a 90-degree angle with our legs here. We're going to hold here, and our feet are flexed, dorsiflexion, toes pointing up. And we start to feel the lower abdominals working here with arms by our sides. Now, on your next breath in, you're going to extend the left leg all the way down on the mat, keeping your right leg floating, and then reach the right arm up overhead. And pause, left leg extended, right arm overhead to the floor if you can. And then coming back up to the first position, okay? And then the right leg, all the way down on the mat, resting, feet are flexed, Left arm up overhead, so it's always opposite arm, opposite leg. Pause. We have the train in the background giving us a little encouragement. And then we'll come back up to the first position. And again, right arm and left leg. Mindfully moving and observing how the body responds, how the body gives you feedback. And we try to stay as stable in the pelvis as we can. Pausing in between, and then coming back up again, moving to fatigue. We're not doing sets, we're not counting, we're just becoming very attuned to our bodies, and when the body feels fatigued, now we can't do another one. And again, we might not get there today, and we might get there. We might get there after 2, and that's okay. Through our practice, we become very compassionate towards ourselves, treat ourselves good with kindness, and we just are where we are. Each day is different for our bodies and mind. Inhale and extend, exhale back to the first position. And now we'll float the legs in the 90-degree angle, hold. And then I want you to straighten the legs towards the ceiling as best you can. Now you can see my legs are a bit forward just because of I have a little bit of tightness in my hamstrings this morning. And then I'm going to reach my arms up, lift my shoulder blades up off of the mat. My head stays resting on the mat. And you can also have a blanket under your head if you want. And really feeling the abdominals working now. My hands are facing each other, and I'm going to start to do little tiny circles with my legs and my hands at the same time, simultaneously moving. Again, we're moving to fatigue, but we might not get there today, or we might get there very quickly. Everybody's going to be different. And then the opposite direction. Now we're really probably feeling some heat. And then we'll hug the knees, so reaching underneath the knees and drawing the knees in and relax everything. Okay, now we'll bring our feet down onto the mat. Again, finding our ankles under our knees intuitively with our arms by our sides. And then from here, we're going to press our feet into the mat and lift our pelvis up so we have an angle from our knees to shoulders. And we can hold or we can pulse. So we can bring the hiney down, touch the mat lightly, and then inhale back up again. And we can keep pulsing. Or you can add some more movement. So the next time that you lift up, you're going to add your left leg and bring it out in front, really feeling this right leg working, and then bring the foot down and lower down. Slowly and mindfully. Inhale, lifting, and then opposite foot in front, pause, and then bring it back down and lower. So you have 3 options. I'm just going to lift and lower. I showed you all 3. I've been having some back issues and hip issues on my left side, and I don't want to aggravate them. I'm trying to heal them.
So even the teacher is taking a modification, an alternate. And so what are we doing? So you're probably already feeling muscles working here. Feeling our glutes, our hamstrings, and our quadriceps, and you might feel other muscles working. And so that's what's great about all of these exercises. It works a group of muscles, not just one. So another thing you can do with this is you can place like a weight on your pelvis, sandbag maybe, and then do the lifts and lower that way. As soon as you start to feel that this is very easy, then you can kind of kick it up a notch. Again, going to fatigue, but we might not get there today because we only have a certain amount of time. And then we'll lower down and pause and relax for a moment. And then exhale, roll over onto your side. It doesn't matter what side, and we're going to pause here. Taking a few breaths. And so this is just to help get our blood pressure back to normal before we come up. And then we want to engage the abdominals to come up. Even if we're in bed, want to remember to use our abdominal muscles so we're not overworking our back. So we're going to pull the belly in and up into the rib cage and bring ourselves upright. Okay, so from here, we're going to come to hands and knees. And at this portion in class, we can use bricks. So I would advise you to get some yoga bricks, especially if you want to continue with my classes. Get 2 yoga bricks. They can be cork or foam. I like the cork ones for stability because they're heavy and they don't rock a lot and move a lot, especially when I'm using them for support. Another option is not to use the bricks. If you don't want to use the bricks for this, you don't have to. But I actually enjoy using them. And if you find pressure on the knees in this position, you can double your yoga mat or place a folded blanket under your knees. And so from here, we'll inhale and lift the sit bones, spine, and head. Now, you can lessen this exaggeration if you know this is going to bother your back or neck. And then exhale, tuck your pelvis, round the spine, and let the head go. Again, lessen the exaggeration if you need to. Now, I'm just going to be working the pelvis today because of the injury that I told you that I have, a disc issue. It's actually a slight bulging disc, and so I'm working to heal that. It actually can be healed. So I'm just going to move my pelvis today. And if you'd like to do that too, you can. So it's sort of adding some help with mobility and stretching. And you can curl your toes under like I just did if you want, or toes can point back behind you. And then we'll come into now downward facing dog. So down dog again, we can use our bricks if we want, which I enjoy, but you don't have to if you're one of those that don't want to use the bricks, you don't have to. I like to put my bricks under my mat so my hands don't slide around. And then our wrists are slightly forward over our shoulders, knees under our hips, toes curled under, and we're just going to move to a tilt in the pelvis. We can drop the head if we'd like, and then exhale, we're lifting the hips. And like we're pressing the mat away from us with our hands. And then if we notice any low back tension or hamstring tightness, step the feet wider and lengthen the side rib cage. Pull your belly in a lot and gaze at your knees. And then as if you were holding an imaginary beach ball between the insides of your elbows, you're going to hold that and draw the insides of your elbows in slightly here. Belly button towards the spine. And just letting your head relax. And so we're going to feel the skin of our face, especially if we're older like me, feeling the skin a little bit sagging down, but that's okay because it's kind of bringing some blood flow to our face and helps with having that circulation in our face. So maybe we get a little mini facelift, maybe temporary. And then on our exhalation, we'll come back to our knees. So our hands and knees again. And so if this does not feel good on your wrists, you can always come to the wall and you would just stand in front of the wall with the arms straight out in front of you, wrists in alignment with your shoulders, hands flat on the wall. And then you're going to lift your right arm up and extend the left leg behind you like this. So it'll be opposite arm, opposite leg. And if you're using the mat, then we're at hands and knees on the mat. And then we'll reach the right arm forward and extend the left leg behind. Actually, let's start again. I keep forgetting this part. So we're going to slightly tuck the pelvis, pull the belly in a lot so we engage the abdominals. Now, reach the right arm forward and extend the left leg back and lift up that leg until you can't lift it up anymore. So then really start to work the glute. And this can be done standing. Our gaze is a bit forward and we hold. And so we want to work up to a minute of holding. And this is called balancing cat in yoga. You can also curl the right toes under if you want, but I like to just point my right toes behind me. Make sure you're lifting that leg till you can't lift it anymore, so you're really feeling that left glute and belly button towards the spine. And then exhale, come back to hands and knees. Checking in, and then we'll switch sides. So now we'll tuck the pelvis, pull the belly in. So a slight tuck in the pelvis, pull the belly in and extend the right leg back and up till you can't lift it anymore. And you're really feeling that right glute now. And then extend the left arm forward. If you're at the wall, the right hand is on the wall, left arm up towards the ceiling, and right leg comes back. Gaze is forward on the floor. And so this is a great exercise because it works your back body, it works the front body, it works the shoulders in the back body, and also will help with bone density because, especially if we're on the mat, because we're working against gravity here. So again, all kinds of benefits. And we hold till we're fatigued. And then exhale, come back to hands and knees. Back to standing if you're at the wall. Pause. And then we're going to do one more downward facing dog. So if you want to stay at the wall and do down dog because your wrists are bothering you on the mat, then you're going to get really close to the wall, your chest and pelvis, and then reach up on the wall and then walk backwards. Slide the hands down until you come to a 90-degree angle or close to. Pull your belly in, step the feet apart if you need to. Pull the belly in, lengthen through the side rib cage. The gaze is going to be down at the floor. So it's not as intense on the wrists. And if you're on the mat, the same thing. You're just gonna lift up, adjust the feet, lengthen the side rib cage, gaze at the knees. Breath is moving in and out. And then we are going to step carefully forwards. Bring the bricks in the upright position. If you're at the wall, you're going to come back to your mat. Bricks in the upright position, knees are bent. And then start to pull the belly button in towards the spine. Bring the hands on the tops of your legs and come all the way up to standing. Then let's line the ears over our shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, knees over ankles. We want our second toes pointing forward, feet hip width apart or a little wider. Feeling the soles of our feet, and then drawing up through the top of our head. And then we want to think of rotating the thighs kind of in. We can work with this by placing a foam brick between the thighs, like this, yep, all the way up into the upper crotch area, and you're going to squeeze the brick with your thighs. Kind of squeeze, and then you'll notice a alignment and adjustment of your posture, like almost immediately, and all those muscles working properly to support the body. That's why they say working the core is so important, and working our glutes is so important, because it's like the powerhouse and the stability factor for the rest of our body. So it's not just about having a big old booty, right, and a strong booty, and mine is not big, but it's not about that. It's having a strong one so that we can move through our lives and feel stable and comfortable and strong. So now we'll move into some balancing. So our feet are going to be hip width apart, and if you'd like, you can kind of bring yourself to the wall and just bring your back up against the wall. You're not leaning against the wall though. It's just there for some stability and to make you feel more comfortable. And then from here, we're going to bring our hands onto our hips, starting out. And I want you to just shift your weight into your right foot and lift your left knee up as high as you can while pulling the belly in. Lift up, lift up, lift up. And then reach the arms up and interlace the fingers on top of your head. And hold. Looking straight ahead, avoid letting the head draw forward and down. Look straight ahead. So we feel the right leg working all the way up into the glute. And we feel the hip flexor of the left leg. So both legs are working in a different way. And then exhale, bring your left foot down, arms by your sides, and then hands at your hips. Check in. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Left, or moving our weight into our left foot, and then lift the right knee up as high as you can. And then arms out to the sides, interlace the fingers on top of your head. And hold. Avoid letting the head drop forward. Keep long in your neck. So you also might feel the abdominals here as well. Again, you want to move to going to fatigue, which we might not get to today. And then exhale. Coming back to standing, checking in. And then moving into yoga. So we'll move into balancing warrior, which can be done facing the wall or back of a chair. So if you're using, well, just imagine, so I have the wall in front of me or a chair, and I'm just gonna step back with my right foot, bend my left knee, lean forward, and then reach forward with my hands on the wall or the back of the chair lightly, arms straight, and then press into my left foot, straighten and lift the right leg up behind me. So if you're not using anything like I'm doing now, then go ahead and move there. And then turn your palms forward. Now, you don't have to worry about having it perfect, making a perfect T. I'm sure I'm not in a perfect T. Just do the best that you can. If you have physical limitations like I do today, work with what you have, right? So we start losing our balance abilities at age 25, so it's really important to continue working with our balance. Again, so we can keep moving through our lives with stability and strength. And this also helps with concentration, and it's challenging. It's working our muscles still. And then back up, reach up. Exhale, arms by your sides, pause. So feeling all those sensations moving through the body, maybe a little breathless, maybe feeling the heart beating a bit stronger. Feeling our aliveness. When we practice, when we move, we're really feeling our aliveness. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Left foot steps back, facing the wall, the back of a chair or nothing. And then bend the right knee, and then straighten the right leg, kick back with the left, and reach forward. So again, this is my weaker side, especially with the lifting leg. It's actually better than it's been. And I find the more I reach forward, when I don't have any support, the easier it is for balance. I don't know why, not everybody might feel that way, but you can try it. So we really feel how our body works to keep us balanced, as it does anyway. It's always working to keep us balanced. Homocysteine. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Don't hold the breath. Keep breathing. Doing the best that we can. And then back, reach up, and just like a gymnast, reaching up, and then by our sides. Whew. Really feeling a strong, energizing feeling right now. So as we move through our yoga practice, it's really important to notice how the poses affect us in the mind and in the body. As we practice longer and longer in yoga, we start to tune in more. And so when we're moving through our lives and we're feeling tight or tense or, issues with our mind, we might know which yoga pose to go into to help us. So just like mindfulness practices and meditation, which are in our toolbox as well, also the yoga poses. And then we'll come down onto our mat and we can move into releases and relaxation. So reclining backwards, adjust your back body, space between low back and mat, shrug the shoulders, feet stepped apart, knees together. Now these releases you can hold longer if you'd like. And then separating the knees, and if you feel called to windshield wiper the legs, you can. Do a couple of those, and then we'll move into feet together, knees drop open. And this is all about surrender. If you feel lots of resistance in the inner thigh muscles, feel free to place bricks under each knee or a rolled blanket or towel. And then we can bring our knees together. And we can keep with bent knees as long as our feet are apart, knees together, or we can move into straight legs and into Shavasana, relaxation pose. So finding a comfortable way to lay down on your mat with knees bent or straight, whatever is calling you. I'm going to sit up. And I prefer you to stay laying down. And so because this is a video, you can stay here as long as you want. When the video is over, you can just relax. And so we close our eyes and move back to our breath. I'm just going to check the time really quick. Okay, so eyes are closed and we're just checking in again with our breath and observing how our breath is moving in and out of our body. And with each exhalation, just think of letting go of any residual tension, just letting it drain out the back body into the earth. Like waves of the ocean moving in and out. The same with our breath. As it massages the body, massages the mind, and we can just allow ourselves to let go and know that we're safe to do so in our safe space. And so feel free to stay here for as long as you want. I'm going to be signing off now. Wishing you all a wonderful day or night whenever you've come to visit me. I'll end class with my hands together in Anjali Mudra, thumbs resting at my heart center. Inhaling and exhaling any residual tension. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. Be with each of you today. And thank you for joining me today. Wishing you all the best.